Yo, what's up guys, welcome back for another YgoPro duel video. The new Vendread support has been leaked. Was it yesterday or the day before? But it's now up on YgoPro, so let's try it out. Well, a couple of those new cards, that is, since the new support is a little bit underwhelming, as you probably already have seen, right? So one of the new card sets here in the main deck is a one-off. I don't think you need to run more copies of Battlelord, you know, the Shockmaster alike card of like banishing any Vendread card from your graveyard, either monster, spell, or trap, and then until the end phase of that particular turn, your opponent cannot activate that appropriate card. And again, and that's the bummer of this card, it's not a quick effect, you know, like if it would have been a quick effect, you can use it during your opponent's turn, like banishing a spell, then your opponent would not have been able to activate spells during his turn. Maybe that would have been a bit too powerful, but now again, it's only during your own turn, so banishing other than monsters, you know, maybe shutting down hand traps from your opponent, or yeah, you know what I mean, right? Rarely you'll be banishing other cards other than like Vendread monsters to get that negation effect until the end phase. I believe a one-off is just fine. Searchable off of Preparation of Rites, right? This level 6 Vendread Slayer is still the better one of those Vendread Ritual monsters. I'm not running any of the trap cards, any of the spell cards from Vendread Serial. At least from my personal feeling, they are so underwhelming. Biggest problem is that they are not searchable. If the field spell did have the, or would have the effect that, you know, search any Vendread card, not monster, as it has now, then it would have been much better. And again, I'm not running the field spell. It's cool, you know, discarding a Vendread from your hand, for example, to search a Vendread monster, but again, underwhelming, opens you up for Disruption, Ghost Ogre, or any, you know, Twin Twister, Cyclone, etc. So I'm not a huge fan of that. I'd rather play other more generic cards over that. The difference between my previous build of Vendread Shiranui zombies is I dropped Ron Streeges from the main deck for one of the new ones, Vendread Core. Both pretty much have like the same effect, although yeah, Core is maybe a little bit more versatile. You know, banish another zombie to special summon it from your graveyard. So it's just something to, you know, keep upgrading your Link summons. The trap card Vendread Revolution could be decent, but again, the biggest problem is that it's not searchable. So you have to hard draw into it your Vendread Revolution. The effect is good, but again, not searchable. You know, I'd rather have some more generic stuff to, you know, stop my opponent from establishing a board like Strike, for example, or if you're going second, side-decking cards like Infinite Transience, for example. Okay, so let's see a couple of example duels. Alright, first example, I think I get to start again showcasing, or he's trying to showcase a new support. Well, you know, you could play like a more heavy-oriented Vendread deck with the field spell, etc., more of the Vendread monsters, but I'm not really sure. I don't think that's that great, to be honest. Again, Vampire Sucker is here in the deck. Again, some very nice synergy with the Vendread cards, especially with Streeges, for example, or maybe Core as well. You know, both pretty much have the same effect to special summon them to the field and get a draw off of Vampire Sucker, and again, giving you more Link upgrades. And only 2 Omega here in the extra deck. 3 would be too much, so that's why I went for the Omega. No, what is it called? Beelze, indeed. First, because of the second Omega here, thanks to Needle Fiber, also a new addition to this particular deck list. You know, I think I made like a zombie Shiranui Vendread list a couple of weeks ago with the new Vampire Sucker. Anyway, double Omega to rip my opponent from 2 cards, but again, missing the Grinder Golem. I have the Formula Synchron in the extra deck over something like TG Wonder Magician, which is a level 5 tuner, but Formula Synchron is of course a level 2, and with your Vendread Slayer can turn itself into a level 8. So again, it's up to you which one you want to prefer, right? Maybe Wonder Magician, maybe the Christian level 4. Again, it's up to you. Okay, thanks to Grinder Golem, he can do some nice shenanigans with Cerberus as well, but again, the Beelze causing him some trouble. Again, if it wasn't for Beelze, he definitely would have been able to go for, what's it called, Griffin again, to stun those special summoned monsters, but still, double Omega return to the field, and that instant fusion is also something I again put in the main deck over something like Scapegoat. Again, Scapegoat is definitely usable in the main deck. Again, upgrading your links, make Borealo Dragon more easy to make, but it needs some cards in the extra deck, and instant fusion is maybe a bit quicker, you know, searching Theseus, again an extra zombie to go for something like Vampire Sucker, or maybe Crystal Needle Fiber. Again, that's up to you, right? Okay, the Scapegoat rule, you know, prolong the duel a little bit longer, but in the long run, and that's also something I definitely like about Crystal Needle Fiber, searching the Shiranui level 2 tuner. So again, pretty much setting you up for next turn, having, well, if you have Sage, that is right, immediately going for the Crystal Wing. Again, some very nice options thanks to the Crystal Needle Fibers. Sucks that you don't get that right here in the TCG with the new support, with the new set, but you know, we are getting, what is it called, Scrambled Egg or something like that? Yeah, you know, whatever, right, whatever Konami decides to do. I get to start, but again, one of this deck's biggest weaknesses, again, well, which deck isn't right, or which deck hasn't this weakness, is hand traps, mainly Maxi, right, and not really sure, going for Crystal Needle Fiber with Gofu would have given him like 3 draws probably, so I don't see any point. Go for Vampire Sucker, maybe get lucky, right, getting lucky with a draw from Vampire Sucker, but draw into Strike, which would have been nice if it would... Well, top deck Cyclone, what can I do, right? And now it's just wind up shenanigans, board spam, and eventually he will, yeah, seal the deal, right? So, you know, the new Vendread cards are cool. Zombies, definitely very nice, but I'm like, I definitely want to try out a more pure Vendread-oriented build, but I'm always falling back on, you know, the generic zombie slash Omega spam deck with Vampire Sucker, so... It's just, I don't think it's worth it, right, like a pure Vendread deck. Another example where Battlelord, the new Shockmaster, is definitely shines, well, against pretty much every deck that, you know, is heavily based on monster effects, something like Light Swords maybe, what is it called, Burning Abyss also, is definitely some, at least like a matchup where your Battlelord, I believe the name is level 7 Shockmaster, or like Vendread monster, can definitely shine, right? But again, the big problem is hand traps. Ash Blossom on the Preparation of Rites, going second, Infinite Transcience, definitely going into the main deck, well, definitely against this particular matchup, right? Against a deck that can spam like Beatrice, at least when it wants. Go for a Ravendread Slayer first, pretty much always go for it first, right? To get its second effect, thanks to Vampire Sucker, you will get like a Link 2 summon, and at the same time special summon Streeges, or maybe what is it called, Vendread Core, depends, right? Doesn't really matter which one gets you a second draw, at least one draw, right? And keep upgrading for Sorceress, and Sorceress can tutor any zombie monster from your deck. Maybe the, what is it called, the level 4 Vendread that, you know, banishes. I think I drew it off of the draw from Vampire Sucker, but it's not going to matter too much. Most important effect here was activated thanks to Battlelord, preventing my opponent from activating monster effects, and now thanks to the Vendread level 4, I'm able to banish any special summon monster from my opponent. So yep, the tour guide is going to seal the deal, well, lock things up, right? So again, Battlelord, okay, big up that it's like a Shockmaster, but it's not as strong as Shockmaster. Far from it, right? It, again, would have been much better if it would have been able to activate during your opponent's turn, but yeah. Again, whatever Konami wants, right? They definitely know what they are doing. Right? Anyway, you strike on the summon, that's all good. Luckily, he doesn't have a second Burning Abyss, or level 3, yeah, Burning Abyss, right? To go for Dante, etc. Luckily, draw another Preparation of Right. That card is so important, right? To at least a 1-card searcher for your ritual summon, but I keep, you know, falling or you know, like losing against those back rows, against hand traps. It's definitely a problem. Finally, get Battlelord on the field, I believe, with the effect of the level 3 Vendread monster to, you know, banish his Fogblade, I believe that's the name is. But most importantly, again, I was able to use its effect to shut down all monster effects until the end phase, and now finally gain some control again of the duel. He does not set this monster, thinking he would survive, right, increasing its his Link 2 or, you know, rank 3 chances next turn. But I go for it, you know. I think I have enough options to make a big push, and maybe again with the draw of Vampire Sucker might make a big push for a game, and this is definitely enough so I can seal the deal again. So again, some quite cool shenanigans from zombies and Vendreads. Last example, again, Allure of Darkness. I don't like Allure at 3 in the main deck, like opening with 2. That's not something you want, right? Instant Fusion, a nice extender for your plays for something like Theseus, again, Crystal Needle Fiber or Vampire Sucker, again, depending on your hand. Sorceress, again, immediately searching any zombie type. Damn, that's so good. Searching out something like Mizuki. Here the, what is it called, pre-preparation of rights wasn't needed, but it's like, again, the cherry on top. You know that... going for Boreload Dragon indeed, and to go for the second Omega. That was the most important thing. 2 Omega with 2 banished zombies again, setting up for next turn. Boreload should be good against Burning Abyss, right? But again, the Raigeki takes care of it. That's all good. I think, yeah, indeed, the Ash Blossom was banished, so we know he will have one next turn. But again, that's all good. I have enough plays ready for next turn. Double Mizuki in the graveyard. Both Omega will return to the field. No back row, so that all makes things much more easy. Draw the warning. Okay, well, just in case if I can't OTK. Again, the standard play of Ritual Summoning into the Vampire Sucker, into Raven Dreadslayer's effect to special summon something from my graveyard. Well, send something from my, you know, deck to the graveyard and special summon Streegis or Core. Doesn't really matter which one. Eventually keep upgrading, and thanks to Needle Fiber Arrowhead, he had the level 2 Shiranui in the graveyard. So that's GG, well played. So, okay, the support is decent again, but I'm not going to bother with the field spell, with the quick play spell with Charge. I know, you know, you can special summon level 3 or 4 Vendread monsters from your graveyard to the field to get those ritual or add-on ritual effects, but again, I don't think it's worth it, right? Again, all feedback is definitely appreciated. Again, like always, feel free to leave a comment or like if you enjoyed the video. YgoPro signing out. Peace.